Everybody's going to participate tonight because we have planning commission, we have attorneys.
You want me over here? Is this the old Brian seat, or you want me over there with James?
That's
That's where the cops are.
Lieutenants.
Okay.
Lou's,
I'll just hide behind James.
Lou and Lyle are sitting in Ryan's seat, so you know.
When we'll
We'll have them come up for their initial stuff.
Are we 7? Hey, we're 7 o'clock. Okay, let's call this meeting to order. It's Thursday, January 19th, 7 p.m. and this is our city council meeting. We're gonna open up with an opening ceremony with, Katie's going to lead us in the pledge and Janelle's gonna offer a prayer.
Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful to be here tonight at City Council. We're thankful for the beautiful area that we live in. We're thankful for the moisture that we've received. And please bless those in our community who may be having issues with water. And please bless that we will continue to get the snow needed to make it through the summer. We're thankful for the residents of our community and for all the good that they do and for the opportunity to serve. Please help us to make good choices and have thy spirit with us tonight and do what's best for the city. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, moving on to the next item. Next item is we're going to introduce the new city attorney and prosecutor, and Assistant Mayor Boyd Farr is going to do so.
As mentioned in my report last city council, we had done some interviewing and great interviews, great opportunities for our legal counsel. With lots of input and I guess just with lots of input, we decided to split the legal responsibilities into two, so that we will have legal counsel for the city on the civic side, and then we will have a prosecuting attorney for the court side. We feel like we have won the lottery with the two people that we've chosen. So I'd like to introduce to you Gage Arnold and Liam Keo. Did I say that right?
Keo, yes. That's
Okay, all right, just want to make sure. We would like each of you to come up and just tell us a little bit about you. Gage will be the prosecuting attorney. We'll be doing the court system, working with Andrea and Mackenzie as the court clerks a lot. Liam will be our civil attorney. Those that will answer those questions he will be the one that we probably see here more than Gage. Gage will be here on Tuesdays. Liam will be here most of our Thursday evenings and here to answer those civil questions. So thank you to both of you. Interviews were amazing, and even the way they graciously accepted was just a great experience. So Gage, you first, and then Liam, okay? A little bit about you and why and what, and anyway, so.
Certainly. My name's Gage Arnold. I grew up in Weber County, just here to the west of Farr West, out in Plain City. I live out there right now. I went to Fremont High School, graduated in 2000. I went to Weber State for undergrad and then eventually got my law degree from Gonzaga University. Once I got that degree, I came back to the Ogden area. Within a year, I hung my shingle and kind of took anything that came through the door as far as legal matters. And then I started at the Weber County Attorney's Office. I was there from 2011 until 2017. In 2017, I started at the Davis County Attorney's Office. I'm a full-time felony prosecutor. I describe it as rape, robbery, and murder kind of thing. And in 2016, I started prosecuting on a contract basis for Pleasant View City. And they have their court on Tuesday afternoons. I've been working, obviously being out from the area. I knew Ryan Shaw, to be clear for the record, knew Ryan. We would consult on prosecuting type cases, and I would take a conflict case here or there for him. And then obviously when he decided to hang it up and be a farmer from here on out, I was definitely interested. This opportunity dovetails very nicely with my schedule, just in the sense that I have just blocked out the Tuesday afternoons, or all day Tuesday, because it was just easy to take out the rest of the morning. As far as anything that comes through the door, I've prosecuted it. As far as domestic violence is concerned, I kind of wear several hats as far as the prosecutor and also the victim advocate. I'm available by telephone to anybody here in the building if you have concerns or questions in regards to that. And anyway, do you have any questions? That's me in a nutshell. Okay, I'm excited. All right.
Welcome, Gage.
You've been 2 weeks already, haven't you?
Yeah. I started up, the plan was to just cover for Ryan, and then obviously when the city extended the offer, I jumped on it, and we survived our first go around. I felt like it went pretty well. So we'll see. Mackenzie and Andrea will be the barometer of justice. And see how if I can fill the shoes of Ryan. So, but okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gage. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Liam Keogh. I think the early part of my life really does mimic Gage's a little bit. I'm from Weber County. I did undergrad at Weber State, but I guess the deviation occurs in that I was fortunate enough not to have to go to Fremont. I went to Ben Lomond instead. So,
Who hired this guy?
I know. I'm in the wrong territory to say that, huh? Let's see, I went to Michigan State for law school and came back and started working with the state of Utah for a brief period, worked in their intelligence division down in Sandy for a little while. Made a switch over to Salt Lake County where where I was there for about 5-6 years. And then 2 years ago, I came up to Weber County because I live here in South Willard. That's only part of it, actually. The commute is a lot less coming into Ogden than it was Salt Lake County, but also Weber County is just a much better county to work for. And I do enjoy it a lot more, and I work with good people. So it was naturally the right choice. And I'm a civil attorney with Weber County right now, full-time. Civil attorney is basically general counsel to the county as a whole, the corporate part of the county, to the county commission, the sheriff's office, various other departments, Parks and Rec. We kind of have 5 of us civil attorneys there in the office, and we're spread throughout the whole county, divvied up the assignments and the departments of the county. And that's what we do. And so this is, I'm very grateful that everybody was willing to split up the prosecutorial duties and the civil duties, because this is really just a good fit for what I've been doing for the past 7-8 years. It just kind of flows with it. I got to get used to the municipal code versus the county code a little bit, but they largely mimic one another, so it's not too bad. Anyways, I'm glad to be here. I'm gonna look forward to working with you all on Thursday evenings and otherwise as well. Anytime there's anything I can help with, I'm here and available. So thanks.
Thank you very much.
Your
Liam.
last name?
Welcome.
Sorry, I do better if I know how it's
Yes,
spelled.
absolutely. Although it probably won't help you with the pronunciation.
That's okay.
Keogh.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We did give Liam his first assignment, and that was to write up the contractual agreements for the city attorneys. So Gage, hopefully you've checked that out and make sure that, make sure that they're, check and balance there, make sure we're good. So, anyway, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next item on the agenda is public comments. Is there anybody from the public who'd like to make a comment? And once again, we have no public comments. Report from Planning Commission. Yes, we are lucky.
Okay, I have to say first up, I was not at this meeting. I was out of town, but I am reporting it and have gone through the minutes. So there was no work session and really just one thing on the agenda, and it was the public hearing for the rezone for the Bird property from R115 to A1. The vote was 3 yes, 2 no, and there was just a little discussion about the intent of the rezone. And that was really it.
Okay, that was the whole
Questions?
meeting?
That was the whole meeting. They
Okay.
reported on minutes and then that was it.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, business items. First one is considered approval of resolution 2023-01, updating the consolidated fee schedule. This is something that we'd already discussed last meeting, but of course, in order to make it official, we have to do resolutions. So any comments, questions from the council?
As I reviewed it, this is basically everything that we talked about last meeting. So I will make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-01.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Boyd and Katie. Let's do this roll call. Janelle?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
Boyd?
Aye.
Approved. Thank you. Did I catch you off guard?
I know. I can't remember. I got it.
Okay. Next item, consider approval of a rezone of the Dwight Bird and Steve Bird properties, parcels 15-004-018 and 15-004-097, located at these addresses from R115 zone to the A1 zone. Do you guys want to hear from the applicant?
We've heard a lot about this and
Okay.
and we've heard from the planning commission and had great input from them. I guess if there's questions to be asked, but I'm not sure. I believe in order to do this right, that we need to move this back to an A1 zone and then figure out how we're going to do this in the right manner for this
Procedural.
type of business. So I would like to make a motion that we approve the rezone of Dwight Bird and Steve Bird properties with the attached parcel numbers, located at 1806 North, 2500 West, and 2395 West, 1900 North, from R115 to A1 zone.
Okay, I have a motion
I'll second.
and a second, so Boyd and Katie again. Roll call, Boyd,
Yes.
Katie?
Aye.
Janelle?
Aye.
Okay, approved. Next item, consider approval of a site plan for Rob Gibb located at 3236 North, 2000 West. There is a note on here, the planning commission recommends that the city council require a stormwater maintenance agreement on this property as part of their approval. Would Mr. Gibb like to come up and possibly answer questions?
Okay, do you have my drawing there?
We do.
Okay.
Welcome to our meeting.
There we go. Okay, questions from the council to the applicant?
I guess I'd like to know, you had a very, a good location. It seemed like it was very well kept, and now the new site is kind of like out of control. And I know you've been bringing that back together. What the proposal of the building and what's going to happen outside? I just have a few questions. That's.
Yeah, so we had been in the other location there since 1997. And I'd accumulated a lot of items, and we had like 14,000 square feet that we had to store a lot of our items. And so when we moved and sold that property, we put in a lot of temporary storage. So some of those trailers that are sitting there will be taken down when we get a building, if we do that. And then there was a project we got involved with in California where we basically cleaned up an old construction site that had been there for years. That we were after a couple of machines, and they said take the whole site. So we ended up with this hundreds of miscellaneous attachments and different things, which we've worked through. Most of them, they're gone. I do not want to have a junkyard looking place, even though you say it was messy there for a while. We have cleaned up a lot. Through the fall, we got a lot more cleaned up, and winter came and we haven't done quite as much, but if we put this building up, we want to have a tidy, clean looking place. I don't want to have junk. I don't want to have anything that's distracting. And yeah, it'll be cleaned up. And then in fact, if the permit is issued and if I build and if I need to be warned by y'all, they drop by, hey, Rob, you said you're going to keep this clean. Drop by anytime, but it will be clean. However, some people doesn't know that that doesn't look very pretty over there, but it's worth $10,000 to somebody, and I sell it for $10,000 to somebody. But my equipment is not always new equipment. A lot of it is used equipment.
You'll still be, that's still in that business of
Yeah, a much smaller basis. Yeah, just a much smaller basis. You know, we used to have 100 machines parked under other property, and we're going to be more like probably 20 machines and a lot of smaller attachments. So, yeah, by design, we're downsized. And
One of the requirements of the M1 zone where you're located is if with any open storage, it has to be have a wall or fence that's 6 feet high. And is the whole property fenced there?
Chain link fence around it all except for against the I-15 freeway. We do not have a chain link fence there. Just a state fence there, barbed wire fence.
also, all of those businesses along that corridor right there, we have asked them to put stormwater in there to hold the stormwater from whatever runoff you have there. And I believe we need to make that, we should, in consistency and for the right reasons, have that added to this. And so do you have any concerns with that?
Yeah, the proposed drain water there you see against the old Highway 126. Is that
There's the retention pond in there.
detention pond that goes all the way the full north-south length there, that brown pebbles there?
I wasn't over far enough, so there we go.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, we have it then.
Also, can I ask the planning commission, does this, I think within the requirements too is a 10% landscaping requirement? Was that a consideration? And did you look at that?
Well, he could answer, but the green in front is a xeriscape. That's part of the landscaping plan and the stormwater detention. It's sort of rolled into one. Is that correct? That was my understanding.
Wonderful, thank you. My only other concern is that there was a couple of requirements within the site plan approval process that weren't included with what the documents we received. I didn't see any information on an ownership plat and the service letters from Bona Vista and Weber Fire District.
Yeah, so it's been a while. I think I do have those on file. I'll have to check, but basically those are letters that they approve with a fire hydrant location, and then the other one was the Bona Vista Water agreeing to put a line in. Is that what you're requesting?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think, it wasn't included with our packet, so.
That's something you could provide then.
Yeah. So the nature of that letter, like from the fire department, is that they approve the fire hydrant location for that property and no further needs there. Is that correct? Is that what you're looking for?
Just use the site plan checklist. Go down that and make sure you can check off everything on that list. I can't remember it, but that's the document that gives you guidance on what's required for a site plan.
Yeah, and there was a few elements that were on that checklist that didn't, I don't know if they either didn't make it to us or they weren't included with your application.
Okay, Lindsay's looking too. You've been a good business owner for a lot of years in Far West, and we appreciate that. And I think with what you're telling me here, I think we're gonna go get back to that. I'm gonna make the motion that we approve this site plan for Rob Gidd located at 3236 North, 2000 West, with the caveat that those items are checked off of the site plan checklist. That's all items that are checked off.
And do you want to include the stormwater maintenance agreement as well?
I should understand what that is. Yeah, the stormwater.
We have Robbie here to do that.
Because I'm like, I don't know what that is
Well,
either.
it's just, there is,
Did you work with Jim Flynn? You should be able to write it up. I think you should be familiar with it.
Yeah, so there was, we figured out the drainage there. There was a question there with Rob, and then there was a potential water impact fee that was going to be applied. And there was some ballpark numbers thrown out, but I should be informed of what those are exactly and what that entails.
I will amend that to require a stormwater maintenance agreement with that property, so.
That's something that's generally like an annual fee or something, or a one-time upfront fee, or?
Typically, I believe annual on that,
Stormwater agreements, just an agreement between you and the city.
right? But there's
There will
certain,
be a one-time stormwater impact fee. And then monthly.
And of course, the maintenance agreement would be that, okay, you're not gonna let it get overgrown and plugged up. I'm sure that's gonna be part of it. Okay, so are you done with your motion?
I am, thank you.
Do we have a motion with all the caveats?
Just those two, so.
Just those two. Okay.
I'll second that one.
Okay, and a second by Janelle. Roll call vote on this one. Katie?
Aye.
Janelle?
Aye.
Boyd? Okay. Thus approved. Thank you.
Very much.
Thanks for your business in Far West.
Okay, our next item is to set a public hearing for the Planning Commission for 6 PM on Thursday, February 2nd, to consider the intent of the legislative body to amend the general plan to adopt the moderate income housing plan. Okay, what is driving this is the fact that we have to have this adopted by resolution before our deadline, which is mid-month.
That's the first Thursday, correct?
Yes.
Isn't that a city
It's,
council?
that's why it's at 6 PM. We're gonna have to ask you guys to come in and have a meeting beforehand.
So this is just planning commission and then that will come before the council.
Yes, so they will need to have a meeting to, yes,
Just a question, Mayor. Does she need to do something special about announcing that to the public?
Absolutely.
It's not the regularly scheduled time.
absolutely.
You need to tell the planning commission to
Yes,
still be there.
yes.
Yes, at least enough of you, for sure. And this was actually a recommendation from our new city attorney, and I appreciate that, Liam, so we'll make sure we have our ducks lined up. Appreciate that very much. So, and I think we all know what this is about, and I'm sure that Janelle has some enlightening things in her assignments that we can discuss about later. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we set a public hearing for the planning commission for 6 PM on Thursday, February 2nd. Do I need to include the rest?
I'll second that.
Okay, Katie and Boyd are our motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. None. Okay, we're gonna have a public hearing, and it's gonna get announced appropriately and all that other fun stuff, huh?
So just so nobody's confused, next week, we're all going to get together before planning commission. And now planning commission, the next week, we'll get together before our meeting. So just, we'll be,
All is fair.
okay, just so you know.
So the 26th, we have a work session at 6 PM.
Yes.
joint Work session.
Yes,
Okay.
and then they're gonna have a public hearing the following week at 6 PM. Because we like doing things as a team. Okay, moving on to consent items, approval of minutes dated January 5th, 2023.
Motion that we approve the minutes dated January 5th.
Second?
Okay, Janelle and Katie are our motion and our second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passes. Motion to approve of bills dated January 18th, 2023.
Make a motion, we pay the bills.
Okay, Katie and Boyd are the motion and the second on paying the bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we're paying our bills. The next one, discussion action, review and approve dates for 2023 city celebrations. Katie, please.
Hi, okay, I sat down with mayor and we put some dates to paper for the city celebrations for this year. First one coming up will be the Easter egg hunt, looking at having that on Saturday, April 8th. That's our kind of normal standard. The Memorial Day flag raising ceremony will be on Monday, May 29th. Freedom Festival this year will be June 30th through July 4th. A little change here with our trunk or treat. We are suggesting moving the trunk or treat from a Monday to a Friday this year. So Friday, October 27th. Veterans Day will be on Saturday, November 11th, and then looking to do something a little bit different with Christmas this year, having that on a Saturday and looking at doing something like a breakfast with Santa on that day. So, yeah, if this looks good to everyone, or if you have any concerns or questions, yeah, please.
On the Christmas celebration, is that one will actually turn on the lights, or will they be on before then? What is your thoughts? Does it have anything to do with the lights at all?
I don't think it has anything to do with the lights at this point. It's just kind of become moot. And I think I've seen some other cities that have done had Santa Claus come and to the senior center and they can, do a little like breakfast. And so I think that'd be a fun thing to.
I like to, they put it early into the month, so it
Mhm.
doesn't interfere with everything later.
So if everybody is on board with that, we can.
Okay, since this is a consent item, I'm going to call for all in favor.
Aye.
No one's opposed. Okay, looks like these are our celebration dates. So that's good to know, so we can move forward and start making plans, hopefully way in advance of any of these. So maybe we should call Santa today, and make sure he's gonna be available.
He's in the
And the Easter
Bahamas.
Bunny, probably tomorrow. And the rest of them. Okay,
You're the one that's,
I'm the bunny.
your bunny costume came.
What was that? Huh?
Okay,
Does the Easter Bunny have a beard?
Probably.
only if he's, okay. Follow up, report on assignments. I'm gonna pick on Boyd first.
Okay. As discussed a little earlier, we've been busy as the personnel committee and great results. So we have that taken care of and in place and actively working. So it's good. Liam, we would like to invite you next week if you're available.
I'll plan on being here next week.
Okay. And we do know, there's always disclosures when you hire someone and Liam will be out of town on our first meeting in February. And so I just want to acknowledge that now. That was kind of one of those pre-hire dates. So anyway.
Thank you.
Okay. We met as a board of the fire district. I am always amazed when I look at what has been brought to the table for Weber County through our leaders there at the district. We have, Chief Sullivan has brought a lot of professionalism and some very good things to the county. And we, with things that we've recently done with wages, I think we're going to continue to have a great team with Weber County Fire District. And we appreciate what they do to keep us safe. CERT is in the next room, in the small conference room meeting right now. So we'll look to see how that comes out. We have seen some preliminary numbers. I guess they're not as preliminary for our sheriff's contract, our annual contract. So that will take place in July 1, I guess, is the dates for that. So
Discussion for budget season.
it'll be a discussion on budget season. I think that's probably everything that I have to report on. So
Okay, thank you, Boyd. Appreciate it. Katie, what else have you got for
All
us?
right. Quite a few things to report on. I'll start with the communications. I met this week with Lindsay and Andrea. We are going to put together a communication plan for the year to make sure that we're kind of utilizing all of our communication methods to reach all of our residents. And so that'll give us some a good idea of when we need to have our content put together, so we can be having regular touch points with our residents here and keeping them in the loop of what's going on. We already talked about celebrations, and approved those dates. So we, like you said, we'll get busy starting to plan for Easter. Parks, we submitted 3 ramp grants. I'll let Janelle report on hers, but I was over the pump track grant. So we submitted an application for funds for accessories and amenities for the pump track out here. That includes like a 12x12 structure, some picnic tables, benches, a bike fix-it station, and a bike storage area. And then also put in a ramp grant request for the construction of some pickleball courts over in the Farr West Farms area. So we should hear on those in the next couple of months. And then last thing, have made some progress on the pedestrian bridge. Met today with Miles and talked with our partners at UDOT. UDOT, and this kind of something that I want to discuss in depth with the council today. Miles brought us a cost proposal, like a scope of work and cost estimate for doing the engineering on the structure. This is kind of the next step in order for Miles to know kind of what fabrication he would have to do within his shop. When we met with UDOT committed $200,000 to help with the cost of the pedestrian bridge. But they would like the city to have a little bit of skin in the game and are requesting a 10% cash match from the city. So say they put in $250,000, they'd want us to pony up $25,000. Miles indicated that time is kind of the essence here. He's got employees who have time and availability now to start doing the manufacturing of this. Tried to impress to him, all these different entities are moving on their own timelines, and knowing that if we move forward with this engineering, that will have to go through UDOT's channels for their structure review, because it'll be going over 2700 North. The contract for the work to be done for the engineering of it, from where it's at now, preliminary engineering to final engineering, is about $20,000 in this proposal that they gave us. But I assume that it will go up, because I don't think they built in time or built in hours to include that structure review with UDOT. And then in talking with UDOT, they kind of said, you should, just have the city do the contract, and then UDOT, and then we'll reimburse you through like a local agreement. So I think, yeah, we're kind of running up against the fact that, Miles was saying that his contribution, he's estimating about $200,000 on his end for time, labor, supplies for the fabrication work that he would do is very time sensitive. Because I said, I don't know how long this will take. I don't know if but I think realistic, we're looking at construction. I think earliest next season. And he said his match or his donation wouldn't be available then. And so I'm just kind of, looking to you guys to see what your feelings are, if we should do, if we should pony up the money to pay for the design of it, or if we should try to, work on getting grants and, furthering this down the road that way.
I have a couple thoughts on that.
Okay.
We all were very excited about this when it came in. We all believe it's the right thing to do. Obviously, UDOT believes it's the right thing to do too. We need to find $20,000. Or 25, whatever that match is going to be for them. We have with what Mr. Robinson wants to give us, with what the state's giving us, I think we'd be foolish not to move as quickly as we can and get this done. I do know that in our initial meetings, he was willing to upfront that until we got that money too. And so if we could do, make sure that it was a legal agreement that we worked with our attorney on, but.
And he indicated that was still on the table too. He said,
He just wants to get started.
and then and if we would reimburse him, and I said, well, this is a good time to be talking about this match because it's budget season. And if we can, put this in but then I was like, but that doesn't cover us until July.
But if we could get this going and, he's building it in his time frame, so we don't lose that, then we could, with an agreement, pay that back when we got that budget money or when the state gave that to us, however that.
How about if we put this on our next agenda to discuss in a little bit more in depth?
I would like as an action item so that we could actually vote, but
Right, yes.
I believe that we need to, the opportunity of a lifetime needs to be taken in the lifetime of the opportunity.
I like that.
So I think we
analogy.
have to, this is
Do
a
what we can.
safety issue. It's going to be long-term. This is not just a small thing. We're not going to get any smaller. There's going to be more kids walking across that road. Again, if UDOT supports this, I think we need to figure out a way to make it happen and to happen so that everybody involved can so we get all of the donations. So that's my.
Okay, I'll ensure this is on our next agenda so we can do it properly.
Awesome.
In the
Give it the
meantime-
proper attendance with at least the, leaning towards doing the right thing.
In the meantime, we need to probably check with Cody and see if what is available, if there's going to be anything that we can do that. But knowing what we all thought of it originally, I think it's the right thing to do. So.
And I do have some additional meetings coming up with another person at UDOT that does kind of like the safe streets planning and funding and looking into if she has some additional like kind of discretionary funds that she can push towards this. And UDOT has indicated, they said it's a no-brainer for them. They said, the city has the land on the north that can be deeded and through the right-of-way process and count towards a match. The school district has agreed to donate the right-of-way. The county can do the actual acquisition process through their agent there, and just showing that multi-agency collaboration they were all about that, and they said the same thing. They said it's a no-brainer.
Everybody's looking in under their couch cushions for
Yeah.
extra money.
But let's not make this last so long that we lose.
Right.
The donations. Okay.
Okay, we'll have it on our next agenda to take actual action. What else have you got?
I think that's it.
Okay, Janelle,
Oh, wait,
sorry,
sorry.
one more thing?
One more thing.
He said it was on me. No, just kidding.
We had Parks Committee meeting on Wednesday. Had a couple of really interesting people attend our Parks Committee meeting. First was the football league that used our facilities over here last year. They're still interested in using this for practice, but we're also looking to utilize some of our parks for fields for their games. So we were able to share with them the updated pricing structure and for practices and for they would be under a full day tournament. And so they seemed amenable to that and like it wasn't a big deal to them. And then we also mentioned that the parcel on 2700, we were looking to put out an RFP for a shared, lease improvement development agreement with that parcel, and they seem very interested in it. I started working on finishing up that RFP today. And so probably another thing I'll need your help with is I'll send to you what I've got so you can add in all of the extra terms and stuff. So our legal bases are covered before we go put that out to bid. But it seems like this football league is interested in a partnership there, and so is the soccer team. And so hopefully we have some competition there and gets, a really good partnership and some improvements there for that piece of property. So that's probably about 85% now. And I just have kind of some follow-up questions for the Parks Committee and for the mayor to finish up that, and then, have legal look it over. We also had Baby Animal Days come to the Parks Committee meeting, approach us about doing another event this year. We were fortunate enough to have our special event protocols policy in place this year. So we just quickly went through the application process with them and said, here's X, what you'd have to do, X, Y, and Z. Here's the costs associated with it. Here's the next steps you need to take. And I think that policy and that program is really going to help our city out and keep us out of
I
trouble.
need to make sure that when they come in, Baby Animal Days, I guess, is a registered trademark.
They mentioned that.
I was going to mention to her, no, extravaganza.
Extravaganza. Is this part of that? Is this the one that the family put on, or is this the one that the farm
This is the
group?
one that the
This is
family
Barrow
put on.
Barrow family extravaganza.
We also told them they can't say Far West, baby. It's not sponsored by the city.
Thank you. But, okay, those were the two
Yeah.
major things for both of those things that happened last year.
Yes.
So, okay.
So next steps in that is they're supposed to fill out the application. We gave them the application and bring it in and pay a $25 application fee. And then we'll meet with them at our next Parks Committee meeting to go through the details of that. In the new application, they have to detail their parking plan, their waste disposal plan. They have to get, a mass gathering permit. And so I hope that they will
The one
go
that was
through
spread
it.
out over a few days seemed to be a little less congested than the one that was for
This
4
is-
hours. So,
This is the one that is approaching us right now, so.
okay, all right.
That's it.
Are you sure?
No, but
She has the right to recall.
Absolutely. I'm never gonna say can't say one more thing. Janelle?
Okay, so to follow up what Katie said on the grants, we did the 3. The one that I did was for the Mountain View Park playground equipment. We would be expanding the footprint there. I got some bids back from Garrett and I worked extensively with place-based designs. So the one I submitted was Garrett, just because you got a lot more equipment for the price, but place-based is still putting together a more customized. So we'll see what we get back from that, if anything. And then,
Were any of these major, or were they just all?
None of them hit the major
It was
level.
regular.
They're all 3
so one of mine would have been major, but I went with the one that was a little less
Okay.
expensive, so it's a regular. So it was like, I think the request from Ramp was like 172.
And the priority, because you prioritize, which your applications, and Mountain View was our first priority. Pump Track was our second, and third was the pickleball courts.
Great, awesome.
So we'll hope to hear good news on that, but, and then, well, I attended Planning Commission last week, but you got the report from that today. We also, at the Parks meeting, talked about a little bit about the JDC Ranch discussion that we'll have next week, just about impacts and everything. So we'll follow up more with that. And then the other thing I've been working on is this moderate income housing adjustment for the general plan. So we met today with Alyssa Gamble, who's reviewing our application. So we went through some more changes on this document. So I told her I would make those tonight and get those to her like tomorrow so that she can review it. And then it'll be ready for our, hopefully like we'll already have kind of the pre-approval so that we know that it's good. She'll review it and then it should be ready for that public hearing on the 2nd. So we did that, so I'll make those changes we talked about. And I'll send them to you to make sure I got all the right information.
Sure.
Have a second set of eyes.
And then we'll send it out to the whole group, including planning commission.
Yeah, I'll send a copy, well, to you first.
Yes,
And then to her,
yes,
and then once I get her okay, I'll send it to everybody.
okay,
Does that sound fair? So that everybody has like the final copy.
right.
So if she sees any changes, I can make them and then send out the final submittal copy. And then Legislative Policy Committee, looks like Monday is the next meeting. So the legislative session is in session, so we'll be meeting a lot more on that, but I think that's everything.
Is
You
there anything on the legislative radar for the League of Cities and Towns, or anything that we should be, they've indicated we should be following, or?
I haven't looked too close. I had up their website now, but they'll go over that probably on Monday on kind of the hot ones to watch. There is like, if you get on their website, there's a bill tracker that they kind of are good to update, but I'm kind of waiting until Monday to see. I know there are quite a few things that don't necessarily affect cities, but that like I'm personally interested in, but yeah, so it's worth looking at, even if, you know, you're not on the Legislative Policy Committee. There's a lot of, I mean, that's where our laws start. So it's valuable to be informed of what's going on, but so that'll be Monday. And then I think that's all. I think that's
Okay.
it. Unless you think of something I'm missing, because I didn't make notes. I mean,
You're
I made
good.
notes here.
I appreciate everybody's very hard work on all of this. It's excellent. Okay, I'm gonna, these guys have pretty much reported on almost everything I've been involved with, but except for WACOG. So I'm mostly gonna talk about WACOG. So WACOG, we had that meeting just last Monday on January 9th. And let's see, to get down to anything of interest. So one thing that was kind of interesting was there was a discussion by Mayor Dandoy of Roy. Apparently, this is kind of cool. They have this thing called the 3-gate trail system they're proposing. This trail system will be basically, they call it 3 gates because it's going to span and follow the railroad lines that are on Hill Air Force Base currently, from the Roy Gate through the gate that doesn't exist yet at about sunset, and the gate at Clearfield. So that's the 3 gates that they're talking about. So something that I found interesting is part of what they're going to be doing there is kind of, imagine this, they're going to be tearing up part of I-15 to do some things in order to get that interchange in at sunset. And so that means it's going to go, they just got done rebuilding all that. So that means, of course, they need to tear it up and start over again to rearrange it. So anyway, I found that interesting, and they showed how it's going to tie into all of the pathways that we have going on and that the Ogden has going on. It's going to tie from the Ogden Railway all the way to Layton and also into all of the western pathways that exist. I found that pretty interesting. Not as interesting, but still we need to know about transfer station fee increases. You know what that means. So, you know, just as the garbage went up, the garbage is going to go up some more. And then we got into some action items. So there was some discussion or action. This one's interesting to us because we're amending the request from Plain City, from North Plain City Road has been amended. They want to do some more work along there. They've already got some promised funds for that. I was kind of hoping that we could tie into that because, you know, it ends right at our city border, but we'll see how that goes. But that helps us in some of our plans going forward. So they did that. They also amended a request from Hooper City on their project. So those things were all amended. Then we got into some things with Wasatch Front Regional. This was the meeting of the year for basically giving everybody assignments. I didn't get any assignments on the Wasatch Front Regional Council, but then we got into the annual elections for the WACOG committee assignments, and I wound up with 3 assignments. One of them is actually kind of cool. So just after I got Janelle to take over our Trails and Active Transportation, I'm now on the Trails Foundation of Northern Utah. So I just can't get rid of trails, and I don't mind it at all. It's actually good stuff. The other committee I'm put on is, now I'm having a hard time remembering it. It was a really important, oh yes, the transportation subcommittee. The transportation subcommittee is the subcommittee that basically goes through and decides, like for instance, they were the ones that recommended, the roadway over there north of Maverick. Okay, that committee was part of that whole decision process. And so some of these other WACOG funded transportation projects I will be on that committee for, which includes the 4,000 North and all of that. So that was a good one to get on. And then the one that we all got to get on, we now have a new subcommittee called the WACOG Housing Subcommittee. And they actually passed a resolution forming this new subcommittee as a basically we're authorizing this to continue advancing unified strategies. So the whole point of this is that Weber County wants to put together a county-wide housing plan. So it's not that each city has to do this, that, or the other thing. The county has an overall plan. And some of the words I really liked in here is it's ongoing commitment to address the current and future housing needs, strategically address land use, and improve the quality of life for Weber County citizens now and in the future while maintaining local autonomy. So that I found that very important. So that's in that. The point of this is so that, the adoption of this is a gesture to the Utah legislature, stakeholders, and Weber County citizens that's our commitment to go forward. So that, if the legislature understands that we are invested in this and that we do have a plan for the whole county as a county of governments, then, it's much easier for them to realize, allow us to have our local autonomy. So at least that's our goal, and we'll see how well that works out for us. So that is my report. Do you guys have any questions?
I talked with some folks from Summit County this week they were talking about their challenges with moderate income housing, which paled in comparison to what we are doing here. And so I'm grateful for the work that Janelle's done on updating that and making us come into line with what we need to do for that.
Yeah, we will have some more conversations because part of our timelines were that we do need to address, like we decided one of our strategies was for the 55 and older type communities. Well, we need to come up with something within our zoning in one way or another to help allow for that. So, but that in our timeline, we said we'd have our discussions in the first quarter and hopefully some implementation by the end of the second quarter. So that's our timeline. I think that's enough time to at least start that process.
Yeah.
I mean, all you can do is have goals.
Well,
And
not just that, but we do need to implement, like, on things we've already done, we need to, when we're reviewing those, how we measure success. So those things are what I'll be adding.
right. So we're probably going to be going through annually, as we were discussing, that when we do our annual reports on this, how well are we doing? Well, have we done enough? That's an opportunity for us to review whether what we have is satisfying what we need to do. But that gives us an opportunity to do those things. And one of the things we need to do, and they're very serious about this, is basically, how we have, and we passed, and we have the ability to have internal accessory dwelling units, right? And we have by, ordinance that they need to be done by permit. Well, we need to basically get the word out. So, because I think we all know that there are folks out there with accessory dwelling units, internal and some that aren't internal, In other words, people are already renting out, but what we need to do for our own sake, which helps us in the moderate income housing struggles, is show that we have this, and for them to participate and get basically, I'm not gonna call it licensed, but permitted, allows us to show that this is what we're already doing.
We can take credit for it.
And get credit for it, yes. We need to have credit that these things are working for us. So, and even when we do subdivisions and they come in with the certain percent of smaller lots that allow for some, more affordable housing, we need to basically count those as, okay, in a certain subdivision, we've got this percentage, this many lots. That way it's enumerated to where we can count that and report on that. And that's what they're looking for. They want to know, what are we doing about it? So.
That's great.
We're not done with this, but we're definitely doing what we need. Not until we're completely built out. Oh, and then they'll start tearing things down and start building from there. Okay, so that's the end of my report. If there's no more questions or anything like that, I will entertain a final.
I will move to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second by Boyd, and I think Katie whispered it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Adjourn. Thank you.
I was, up at hockey with my kids.